Okay, so we're gonna clear a few things up here because you'll see all over the internet things about smart contracts and Ethereum being the next big thing, which I do agree. It's quite a painful topic for me because 6 months ago I started looking heavily into Ethereum, and it was $8 per Ether, which is like their token, so to speak, or their cryptocurrency. And I just got so busy in general life that I just forgot. And I kept meeting, it was on my to-do list for like 6 months. I was, I must get around to that, And then I checked, and then I was like, shit. It went to $40 per Ether. And I was like, okay, massively overextended. I'm gonna wait for a bit of a pullback because nothing goes up in a straight line in the markets. You always have like ebbs and flows, and things, it's like a jagged edge when you have a strong rally. But, but with Ether, it never pulled back. It is literally just rocketed up. And then by the time I started acting, it was then $90, and I got in late. I got in like $100. I mean, it's already $360 per Ether. So yeah, I've made 300%, but I could have got in at $8 if I just got my act in gear. So that's slightly annoying. Now, smart contracts and Ethereum go hand in hand because, well, first of all, we've sort of covered what a smart contract is. It's basically, it's if this happens, then this happens. It's like a vending machine. It's like a vending machine where you get your crisps and your chocolate. And that vending machine, it has a smart contract written into the computer within it. So if you want that Snickers bar, you type in the code. I want it, I don't know, B3. You put your money in. So basically the smart contract in that vending machine is, if B3 is entered and 80 pence is deposited, then the smart contract will pay out the contents of B3, i.e. the Snickers bar or the Twix or whatever it is. So that is a really basic form of a smart contract. If I want this and I do this, this will happen, or I will get this. So that's all it is. And like I said, with contracts, like let's say you're going to buy a business, the contract will be on the blockchain or a smart contract, and then when all the parties have signed it and agreed to stuff, the money's released, bank accounts are transferred over, etc. So yeah, you can get very complex smart contracts out there, and basically Ethereum wants to be a bit of a world computer. So Ethereum has nodes all over the place, all over the world, which act like, it's basically a world computer, or some people are saying it's the Internet 2.0. And all it does, so Ethereum is basically going to be an engine that you can program smart contracts on it. So it will run exactly as programmed, no downtime, no censorship or fraud or third-party interference, which will be pretty cool. Because at the moment on the internet, when you put your stuff onto Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever, you're basically handing your content over to someone else. And if Google just kills that app or stops providing it, you've lost your content. Whereas Ethereum, it's basically they created this nice platform where developers can come up with any form of fancy smart contract they want, and use the Ethereum engine to build that, which I think is pretty cool. So I know I said blockchain is like the internet in the mid-90s. You can also say Ethereum is like the internet in the mid-90s as well, because you could see, like, if you're aware at the time, the internet is going to be huge and it'll connect the whole world together, and you can do all sorts of things. And we've had huge companies that have emerged from the internet. Google being one. Google is an internet company. It's that they've managed to use the internet to become this huge behemoth of a company like Facebook. Without the internet, Facebook wouldn't exist, obviously. And so what's happened is that, yes, Ethereum is huge and it's growing like wildfire. What we're waiting for is the killer app, the killer company that's gonna pop up. You know, we're waiting for the Facebook of the internet, so to speak, or the Facebook, sorry, of Ethereum. So at the moment we haven't seen that, but there are thousands upon thousands of companies that are writing apps and smart contracts for Ethereum. So it's just a matter of time, really. Now, you've probably heard about ethers. So it's a little bit different. So Ethereum is the platform, you know, the engine, and Ethereum has its own token or currency or cryptocurrency called Ether. So Ether is like the currency. And the easiest way to think of this is, I have to put things into real world stuff. Let's say you're investing in stocks and shares. So you're looking at a company, I don't know, let's say Vodafone. Now, Vodafone is a company, it's doing stuff, it's buying and selling shit. When I say shit, I mean stuff. But when you invest in Vodafone on the stock market, you look for the ticker, which is, you know, VOD. So when you get onto your share platform or whatever, you look for Vodafone and it will be VOD. Or if it's Barclays, it will be BARC, etc. And you're buying lots of VOD, as in their stock. So Vodafone is the platform, VOD is what you're basically buying on the stock market. And it's pretty similar to this. So Ethereum is the platform and you're buying Ether. And at the moment, Ether is what, $360, $380 per Ether. And it's got so much further to go, it really has. I remember looking at Bitcoin when it was $200 a Bitcoin. I thought, oh, it's quite expensive. And I stepped aside. I wasn't a fan of Bitcoin. I haven't been a fan of cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin for years now. So I was a big naysayer. I was very anti. I thought it was a bit of a flash in the pan fad. I mean, anything that goes up like 100,000% in like a few years or more is a bubble. And yeah, we'll come on to the economics of it all later. I still maintain it is a bubble, but it's a bubble that's here to stay, just like the tech bubble. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. So yeah, that's what Ethereum is. It's huge, and it's here to stay. So.